we are here. Welcome. Hello, hello, hello. We see, give it a couple more seconds. Thank you guys for attending. I am so excited to bring this to you guys. I have been working on this for so long. If you've been on my Instagram, you see how happy and excited I am. My proof came. I was still making some edits, so this is the original proof. They had to change some things like the front of this, but if you guys have not already went and grabbed a copy of the book, the Kindle is already on, and the paperback, I was having a little difficulty with that, but that one should be live now as well. But how to open a senior care home. It's an entire workbook. Really, guys, just bringing the vision to reality. So for the people who don't know me, my name is Erika Crossley. Sorry, I get so excited. My name is Erika Crossley. I'm the owner of Care Home Toolkit, as well as a Perfect Fit senior living expert. So I've been working with seniors for 20 years now. That says a lot. Home health, hospice, senior living, corporate management. Based out of Houston, Texas. I've been an entrepreneur since 2017. And prior to that, I was working in corporate for Brookdale Home Health for the Greater Houston division. Was with them. Before that, I was a field sales rep. So lots of sales in me, lots of know-how in reference to building a business, getting the referrals, getting the money rolling in, right? Because we have quota, we have sales goals, we have to meet those deadlines. And so that's kind of what is instilled in me. And so when I started a Perfect Fit as a placement agent, obviously that went pretty well because I know how to get referrals. And so when I started Care Home Toolkit, it was actually during COVID. So like a lot of other people, I was locked out. Like if you guys were locked out of the hospitals and the nursing homes, I was locked out too. And so I was only able to conduct business via email and text messages, right? But I realized something. I had an epiphany. If something like this just automatically can decrease my sales, decrease my business, I'm an entrepreneur, right? I need those referrals. I had to do something. And that's when I realized like I knew in the back of my head that I needed to learn digital marketing. I just never did it because I was so good at in sales marketing. I mean, it comes natural. I've been doing it for so long, right? Well, go into that rabbit hole of digital marketing and come to find out I love it. Actually, I prefer it. So I went to Jamaica after I learned it. I automated my business, which is a Perfect Fit. So now I'm able to receive referrals electronically. I do most of my marketing, most of my sales, most of my leads. A lot of that stuff comes from online. So while I was in Jamaica, laying on the beach, drinking a rum punch, I'm like, oh, Care Home Toolkit. I can create that, and I should let other people know how to build their business. And because I'm not the only one, right? Like a lot of my friends felt, obviously a lot of my friends work in senior care and senior living. A lot of my friends felt the same hurt that I felt. So what bigger way than to learn it and give that information back? Then also too, there was an uprise in people that I was noticing on social media that wanted to start personal care homes, which is a beautiful thing, by the way, because there is definitely, especially in Houston, there's a senior housing crisis. It's hard to find housing for some of the populations of seniors that we have. So my hat goes off to any entrepreneur that's inspiring, that wants to open a personal care home. I just want you to do it right, because in Houston, there is what I've observed is there's a lot of what I call monkey see, monkey do. So if one person does it one way, then there's 10 other companies or entrepreneurs that want to do it that way. And now you have a cesspool of mediocre, and a lot of people aren't being authentic. And I feel like if you're not being authentic with building your brand, your personal care home, when you're taking care of someone's grandmother, you're really undervaluing yourself. So for example, when going into a personal care home to do tours, you would see a lot of the same things that you see in other people's houses. Like this stands out to me because I absolutely just loathe sheer curtains over a window, right? Like the sheer panels. And I would notice that there's so many people that have sheer panels. And I would ask, like, why did you pick sheer panels? And they're like, well, that's what I thought I was supposed to put. So anyway, in hosting a lot of the seminars that I've hosted in the past, how to open up a personal care home. We do it from a business and marketing and finance standpoint. My mother is a realtor, so she and I also have a business together where we help people buy and sell senior or lease or rent out their homes for senior communities, such as personal care homes. And then obviously I do the marketing because this is what I'm really, really, really good at. And so when I did decide to do how to start a care home, not only is it encapsulated in finances, because first, as a senior living locator, I know how much money we're having this conversation now. We're going to get started. People pay a lot of money for placement agents such as myself to send them referrals. This typically for a personal care home, it could be $2,000, it could be $3,000 per month, right? If you're just starting, financially speaking, there's not that much cash flow coming in. So to invest that type of money for one client, just because people tell you that that's an easy way to get referrals, to me, that's just bad business. And I am a senior living locator. Okay. So we can start there. So if you guys have not grabbed the book, actually, I want to send a link here. Let's see if I can find it. Give me one moment, guys. Where is it? If I cannot find it, I won't worry about it. I can't find it. So I actually won't worry about it. Oh, wait, here it is. This is a new platform that I'm using. Tell me if you guys see it. You see it? I love that. So anyway, you can order that off of Amazon, but we're going to go on ahead and get started. It's Kindle and it should be paperback, but we're going to go on ahead and get started. So how to open a senior care home. First and foremost, we're going to start with what is a senior care home, residential care home, right? So I'm based out of Houston, Texas. I'm from Chicago. And there are so many different varieties of what you can call it. You can call it personal care home. You can call it senior living. You can call it, some people call it group home. Other people just call it a senior home, right? So regardless of where you are, it encapsulates taking care of seniors. And it's typically in a smaller setting. So the setting can be up to 4 residents, like how we have it here, where, you don't need the license. Some of them opt to do 6 and 8. Then the more residents that you do get, just so you know, now you are looking at getting an actual license. So if you're doing it unlicensed, there's only a certain amount of residents that you can have. And obviously the more residents that you get, right, you'll need a license. So why would a senior come to you, or why would someone need your services? Why would they pay you $3,000 to stay in your home, right? So it typically includes you taking care of them, which it includes bathing, grooming, toileting, obviously medication reminders, in some instances, medication management, right? If you're clinical, and you can do things such as insulin shots. Which is a really big thing, by the way. Other than that, you are obviously the room and board is covered. Obviously their food is covered. And I have been into some situations where I've been into independent senior, like group home, as you can call it, where the residents actually pay for their own food. They all chip in with groceries because they have the food card. So there's a lot of different ways to kind of work your business. And so that's kind of what we're going to be uncovering today is what type of home do you want to start? What type of residents do you want to attract? How much do you want to charge? How much profit do you want to make, right? In order for you to start, you have to have a clear vision as to what it is that you want to do and how to do it, instead of simply just starting a home because okay, I heard that I can make good money with a senior care home. So and I have a home that I could lease out, or I have a home that's already ready because my mom lives there. And so let me convert that into a senior care home. And I find a lot of times that is exactly how people get started. And then once they do get started, now they've invested all this money and they have no idea how to get referrals. They have no idea where to get contracts from. They have no idea how to do an evaluation. They have no idea how to accept a client. They have no idea how to onboard a client, right? So a lot of the stuff we're going to go over today. Let's get into the resident type. No, let's get into the vision. So I have built so far 7 businesses. Yeah. 7 businesses. And one thing that I can definitely say is in order for you to be the most successful, you have to know what your vision is and where you're going. A lot of the advice that I give is start the way that you want to finish, right? So if you're going to get a senior community, do you envision yourself getting 3? Do you envision yourself giving the business to your kids? Do you envision yourself running it into retirement? If you do decide to run it into retirement, are you going to sell it? Are you positioned to sell? Do you know how to sell? So get a very clear idea of what your vision is prior to you starting this is going to be pivotal, especially when it comes, and we'll talk about this later on, the business plan, the SWOT analysis, the competitive analysis, getting funding, seeking funding. And one of the reasons why my mom and I started the company that we have to help people sell their business is because they don't know, how do I say this nicely? They make up the idea of how much money they feel like their business is worth. And then they set that out and they're like, okay, I want $300,000 for my business. But ma'am, you're upside down on your house and you only have 2 residents and you have no book of business, you have no CRM, you have no bookkeeping, you have nothing, but you want $300,000. So it's really getting your business together from the beginning so you know how to scale, you know how to grow, and you know how to sell if that's the case, okay? So what I encourage you guys to do, and even if you're doing it right now, actually kind of visualize with me during this webinar what you're trying to create. What does it look like? What does it smell like? What is the staff wearing? What do the residents look like? What are you serving as far as cuisine is concerned? I want you to visualize every single detail of what your business is going to encapsulate. All right. Resident type. So we're on chapter 3. So what type of residents do you want? Let me tell you why this is important. If you say that you want to accept a memory care client, right? Because you associate memory care with pleasant little confused old ladies, that's not the case. You could also get behaviors. You can get aggression. You can get incognizance with behaviors attached to it. Like there's so much that comes along with it. Or do you want to accept bariatric clients? Like, do you have enough staff to do a 2-person assist? What type of client do you want? So when I say visualize, we are talking about down to the nitty gritty. Do you accept clients who need 2 people to assist them because you have 2 people on staff at the same time? And if you do have 2 people on staff, how much does that cost? Right? If you do have let's say a bariatric client, which are the heavier set clients, if you do have a bariatric client, how much are you going to charge this person to stay in your community, to stay in your home? So things of that nature, right? What type of residents do you want? What type of medications would you be able to administer? Insulin is a very slippery slope. I have even nurses that won't accept clients from me if they require insulin shots to a certain degree. So, for example, a lot of assisted living communities won't accept a client if they need insulin shots for dinner or after dinner because they don't have a nurse on staff. Right. So having that medical oversight and knowing exactly what type of clients that you can safely take care of, that's a huge deal when trying to build a personal care home. You can't just say, hey, I have a home and my bed started $3,000, send me a client. That doesn't really work. What if this person is an low risk? What if this person climbs out the window and because you don't have your a secured and locked unit, right? So really take a deep dive and know yourself personally. I'll start with myself because I did start a business. It was called Senior Suites of Katie. It was a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom, 1-story corner lot, pond view, beautiful home, right? I am not a nurse. I am sales and marketing to the core. I am business development to the core. I am not okay with wiping in between anything or accepting behaviors or any of the other very colorful things that come with taking care of another human being, right? But I know that I wanted to have 24-hour staff. I know that I wanted to have a nurse on staff, but on call. So I wouldn't be able to accept someone that needs insulin 3 times a day, right? I wouldn't necessarily accept men with behaviors. I wouldn't, especially if I wanted a house with men and women, I wouldn't accept men with behaviors. I actually wouldn't accept a woman with behaviors, right? So you have to be very clear. I actually decided to turn it into like the Golden Girls concept because the house was really nice and I ended up falling in love with it. But I turned it into like a Golden Girls concept where it was just women. And everybody had their own space because everyone had their own room. And, we just kind of kept it at that. So kind of really knowing exactly what you're capable of, what you're willing to tolerate, what's going to make you happy, what's going to give you peace, what's going to give you that sense of joy when you operate your business. That has everything to do with the type of clients that you are willing and capable and able to accept. Okay. Chapter 4. And I love, so in the workbook, it actually has sections, by the way. It has an exercise. So for example, for chapter 3, brainstorm about the ideal resident that you would like to service. Evaluate your expertise and the expertise that staff should also possess. What type of care can you provide? What will you provide? What talent and training will your staff staff need to best serve that vision? So once again, guys, so just kind of giving you a little sneak peek into the book. Alrighty. License requirement. Now, I am a senior living locator. I have contracts all across the United States, and I can definitely tell you that each state is different. Everyone is different. I will not sit here and say, give you the rules and regs for Texas, knowing that I have people from Atlanta and New York and Chicago that also follow me that are interested in owning homes. So what I will say is, and I actually have this in the book, is, let's see if I could just give you a quick screenshot of it real quick. I can. So on page 19 of the book, right, you'll see, you just do a simple Google search. So let's say Illinois and Illinois Department of Aging or Texas Assisted Living License. Those keywords, it's going to pull it up very quickly. It's almost impossible for you not to be able to find this information on the internet. Everything that you need to know in order to start your business, in order to get licensed, if that's something that you decide to do, how many residents that you need to accept in order to get, if you're going to choose that route to get licensed, right? All of that stuff is online with the agency that is going to give you the license, okay? In the questionnaire that I sent out, I did ask, what are some of the topics that you would like to discuss? And someone responded back and they said, consulting fees, is it worth it? That, I think that was a beautiful question, because if you're paying someone thousands of dollars, by the way. I know plenty of consultants, some better than others, right? Everybody is different. There's somebody for everybody. But let's say if you're going to pay a consultant $5,000, unless they're doing the paperwork with you and or for you, you shouldn't be paying anyone $3,000 to do research on the internet that you can do yourself. I hope that I made myself pretty clear on that. Everything is Googleable as far as getting your license, as far as finding that information. I see it a lot of the Facebook groups as well. A lot of people say, well, how do I get started? And where do I get the license from? If that's the mindset that you're going into building your business, you might want to consider rethinking it to say, instead, where are the resources that give me the information freely so I can learn this part and then pay the $3,000 for, or $5,000 or however much people are charging nowadays for their consulting, just to tell you, okay, go to DADS, go to the Department of Aging, go to the Health and Human Services website. You see what I'm saying? So every state is different. So start that search there. New York, area of aging, license requirements, or New York, aging, assisted living. Start there. Do understand that a lot of times in order for you to get licensed, there is money involved, there's steps, and it's not necessarily a quick process. There are also some states that will allow you to accept a couple clients prior to, and some actually require that you have 1 or 2 residents prior to getting licensed. So once again, go down that rabbit hole, do that research, guys. The cost to open a home. Number 5. I love talking about this because, once again, my mother is a realtor, and she does a lot of deals with people that are trying to either get out of their personal care home because they're burnt out, people who want to lease it, people who want to actually sell it, or people that are they're expanding and they're actually looking for an additional location. When it comes down to the cost, I suggest people reverse engineer what they're working with already. And let me give you an example. If you say that you want to start a personal care home and you only have, let's just say, $20,000 to start this home with, if you have not taken into consideration how much money is going to take to market your building, your company, in order for you to get referrals, your staff, the food. We're going to talk about that a little bit later, because people actually lose clients because of the food. If you haven't considered all of those options, the ongoing operational costs, renovations to get it up to date and standard. I forgot about that. The grab bars. If you aren't considering all of those things within that $20,000, then you don't realize how much money that you actually need, how much money you don't have, right? I highly, highly, highly recommend, and you'll see as we're continuing on through the book, I highly recommend that you do establish a business plan. So as we're talking about this, continue to think about the funding, because I meet so many people that are now asking, now that they know that I'm in that space, hey, do you know investors? Like, yeah, I know investors. Getting money is easy. Getting money is not the problem. It's the vision. You don't have the vision attached to the ask, which is why a lot of people aren't getting that. And I actually have another seminar coming up on that soon. So I'll make sure to keep you guys updated. But just understand, getting money is easy. So when we're talking about the cost of starting a home, the insurance, the legal, because a lot of people opt not to get an attorney for leases and they end up getting burned at the end, especially if someone decides not to pay, or especially if a hospital dumps on you, which we'll get into that a little bit later. So the food costs and supplies as well. I want to put a big emphasis on the food costs, because I have seen and it kind of broke my heart a little bit. I went up to a personal care home when I first started. So this was years ago. This must have been personal care home number 3 of all times that I've ever been to. And there was a brand new BMW and a brand new Mercedes-Benz outside in the driveway. When I go into the home, though, the residents were eating bologna sandwiches and Doritos. That just made my heart cringe a little bit, because I'm like, and there's somebody over here on oxygen. Like, you could tell that they weren't in the best health and condition, and yet they're eating bologna sandwiches. And we'll fast forward just a little sneak peek, but in order to keep your residents, a lot of times people overlook the nutrition. Like, you're feeding them stuff that sends them back out to the hospital. When they leave out to go to the hospital, you no longer have anybody paying rent, and or they die, and or they go into the system, and therefore you just caused the discharge that could have been avoided with the food. But anyway, I'll get off my high horse on that one. But I definitely think with the cost of rising food costs, this is just something that needs to be thought about ahead of time. Also, too, if you go to Care Home Toolkit, actually, after this, you will receive an ebook that's going to have a budget template in there. Do use that. It's going to show you, like, let's say once you put in there how much food costs, your overhead, it's going to actually tell you how much profit that you're going to make per month. So you can kind of play with the numbers a little bit. I just highly encourage you not to sacrifice things that are of importance, such as food, water, safety, things of that nature. Okay. Alrighty. Location. I can talk about this forever, but I won't, because we only have 2 hours together. Location. Guys, think about this. Don't just, let's just speak on Houston. Houston is an hour away from Houston. Everyone knows this. Okay. If you live in Katy, for example, and you decide that you want to take over a home or lease a home or get a home in Jersey Village because it's a good deal, you have to think about this. Do you want to drive to Jersey Village from deep Katy at 3 o'clock in the morning because you have an emergency, because a staff member called off, because of whatever the case is? Like, do you want to face that traffic? Do you have any other business or any other reason to be out that way, that you're going to be that way far, like often, right? So I encourage, for the sanity and for the sake of burnout, that you strategically align your homes, especially your first home, with something that's extremely convenient. I know a lot of people start homes while they have jobs and all these other good things, which is fine. But do you really want to drive 45 minutes to an hour to get to your home just to go check on it? Because you have to be present. This is not a passive income business under any circumstances. And if there is a coach out there that's telling you that it is, you might want to second guess, because anytime you're taking care of other humans, it is not a passive job under any circumstances, especially when you have to hire staff. Staff call off. So let's remove the illusion of there being a perfect scenario where, so I'm hired and I don't have to do anything. Wrong. Your location is viable. Your location is important. Get something that's close to home. Get something that is close to a hospital, not just for 911 scenarios, but for referral scenarios too. Because where are you going to get your clients from? You have this home, but where are you going to get your clients from? We're definitely going to get into that more a little bit later. But those are just kind of questions to ask. How are you going to build your business? How close is it to the grocery store? How close is it to good quality staff, right? If my mother wants to build a senior community out in the country, we have had this conversation, this debate several times over and over and over again. Obviously, she won't listen to me. But if you are in the country, you're in the ruralest of the rural area, where are you going to get your staff? Who's going to drive an hour or 30 minutes? Who's qualified enough to take care of your other? Where are you going to get the staff from? If you have to call 911 because someone doesn't have, they're definitely not a DNR. And they're seniors, like they get sick, they are in pain and all of these different scenarios. How long is it going to take the ambulance to get there? All of these are different things that you have to take into consideration. So your location, I highly suggest that you focus your intention on where you're going to strategically place this business. Also, too, the location also depend where you position your business is also going to determine in a lot of different ways where you're going to get your business, how much your business is going to pay you. So, for example, and I'm pretty sure I have the link on here, but you can go to the Census Bureau, you can go to Social Security Administration, you can figure out what the income ratio is, or the income amount per year that the population in that zip code gets. Let me tell you why this is important. If we'll take Houston again, for example, if you are in a melting pot, such as the Med Center, it can go either way. You can get extremely low income, you can get extremely high income populations within that area. It's a melting pot. But if you go to just one of those wards, right? And if you have not done your research, because let's say you just got this home and it's a good deal and it's a great fixer-upper and you can fix it up and it's in one of those other wards and you decide, all right, now I did all this renovation, I'm going to charge $3,000 per bed. But the seniors in that community don't even earn $3,000 from their Social Security. They don't have they don't have that. So you want to be very strategic about your location, because it is going to affect how you build your business in so many words. So, all right. Competitive analysis. I love this too, because I'm a marketer at heart. Understand, once you launch your business, once you launch your personal care home, it is everyone's job to know what you offer, how much you charge, who's working for you. It is their job. It is their duty, right? So I just want to get that out in the open, because you now have to do a competitor analysis on your competition. So a lot of people aren't comfortable with sales. Like, I know a lot of people come from the clinical background or from the real estate background, and they're not necessarily, or the investor background, and they're not necessarily comfortable with sales. But let me assure you, you're the person who is not receiving business because of you, the person who is calling on the same accounts as you, the person who sees your brochures, your business cards, they are going to do their research. They're going to know everything about you. So in turn, it's now your turn. You have to be proactive and do that. And let me tell you why, because you have to compete. How are you going to compete and you don't even know what you're up against, right? Social media and Google My Business and Google is the best place for you to figure out who's around you and who's doing what. Now, don't let this discourage you, by the way, because I know that we're looking for locations for us to put our beautiful home at, right? If you do a Google search and you see that there are 4 personal care homes and 2 senior living communities right in your immediate area that you've decided that you found your home at, that does not mean under any circumstances that that's not a good place for you to put your home. If anything, that means that there's a thriving opportunity there, because if they're getting fed, you have the opportunity to dominate. Sales and marketing at heart, guys. I don't know what to tell you, but don't let that deter you. You just need to know. So do your research, do your homework, look at their online presence. Do they even have one? If they don't have one, you already have an advantage there. I can't begin to emphasize how much business is not being generated by smaller senior care homes because they have not taken advantage of digital marketing. It's like shooting fish in a bucket that's how easy it is, but yet so many people just kind of shy away from it. So my hat goes off to the people that have taken time to develop their Google business, their reviews. They have their websites, they have their social media up. They're proud of what it is that they're producing, because I guarantee you those people get a constant stream of referrals. Okay. Even as a placement agent, I'm a national senior living locator. So if someone calls me, great example, relevant example, actually. Someone calls me and says, hey, Erika, my mom, she's doing better and she wants to go live with my sister because her kids are younger and she wants to go spend time with her grandkids. Can you help me find a place in Indiana? Sure. After going over all of the details, right? I have everything that I need. I have everything that she's looking for. What's the very first thing that I do? I Google it. I Google the area that her sister lives in. I Google the hospitals. I look at the reviews. I look at the surroundings. I look at what encapsulates everything that she says that she wants. I look at the income ratio to kind of get an idea of how much she's going to spend, if that's even within her budget. And then obviously the people who have 5-star reviews, they have something that I could even show to my client as an option, right? Those are the people that are at the top of the list, not the people that say, you know, hey, Erika, you got any referrals for me? I mean, yeah, I do if you get online, if you get an online presence. But anyway, guys, so enough of that. But your competitor analysis is definitely going to show you, do you have the advantage to dominate in that area, play catch up, or can you offer something that is different and unique to what everyone else is offering? Oh, and speaking of uniqueness, guys, true story. I had a client years ago and he was fun, actually, very hippie, like live in the moment, go with the flow. Everything works out the way it's supposed to go. But this gentleman, he had 2 non-negotiables. They had to accept his cats, and he was a smoker. He's like, if I'm going to die, I'm going to die smoking, and hence, you know, him needing care. But he did things his way, right? Those were his 2 non-negotiables. Do you know how hard it is to find a community that accepts smokers and cats? It's hard. It's hard. Guys, you want to know why it's hard? Because unless you actually say on the website, for example, we accept cats, smokers welcome. Really, there is no way for placement agents or anyone, you know, even the gentleman that can Google from his cell phone, it's impossible for them to know that you exist. So that you exist in that capacity, I highly encourage you, as you are building your vision, be authentic, because someone out there is looking for what exactly it is that you offer. And we're going to spend because I feel like I need to spend a little bit more time here, because there are so many different scenarios that I have seen over the years where, once again, that monkey see, monkey do mentality, which I really hope that we can dissolve that after this moving forward, is what is your essence, right? So if we sit down to do onboarding, because you've hired me to do your marketing, I'm going to ask you, what sets you apart from everyone else? Please don't give me the answer, well, say it with me, guys, we give good care. I hear that so much. Everyone gives good care. What else? Like, what is your essence? What makes you you? What makes you unique? I have a friend who is her husband is Puerto Rican and she's Hispanic, but she's from Mexico. Both of them can cook. He can cook fantastic Puerto Rican cuisine. She can cook authentic Mexican cuisine. They're both Spanish speaking. They have decided to start their own thank you, because they listen to me, by the way, their own senior care business where they cater to Spanish speaking Latin seniors. They're full. I mean, they got full so quick. Do you want to know why? Because that's their market. We're Spanish speaking. We cook authentic cuisine. This is the pictures. This is the residents. This is, the staff. There's no language barrier here. Welcome home. Guys, you see how you've just carved out your own particular niche market, your own particular audience? That's gold. How come no one knows this thing about you? Another example of a bad placement that I did years ago, learned my lesson from this actually. And this is one of the reasons why I've kind of encapsulated it in the way that I do business and consulting too. Sorry. My tea's all cold now. I fixed it like hours ago. But the owner of the personal care home was Nigerian, and I actually gave her a Hispanic male. That did not work. He called me 2 days later. He says, they keep feeding me cheese. I'm lactose intolerant, and I don't even understand what I just ate, and they didn't give me a fork. They told me to eat it with my hands. Epic failure on my part. Because at that time, I was figuring it out. I can definitely say I've grown since then, but matching someone with a place with the person's lifestyle when you're trying to sell the concept of being home, it matters. So if you don't know how to diversify your cooking skills and your staff, you're not hiring the staff that knows how to diversify their cooking skills or anything like that. Or if you have a staff member that's bilingual, multiple staff members that are bilingual, or if you live in an area with a particular cultural influence, like we have Bel Air, you have a lot of people who speak Vietnamese, and you have that culture and that cuisine preference, even the feng shui of the building and the unit, right? Or the place in which they're residing. All of those little things matter. So if you are authentic to yourself and what it is that you're building outside of good care, is it the cuisine? Is it the language? Is it the culture? Is it the activities? Right? So start thinking about those things too, guys. Sorry, I just had to do a little side note on that because I think that truly does matter when it comes to building your vision and executing the type of client that you actually truly want. So you know exactly who to go after. Also too, because I know a lot of clinicians follow me as well. And they don't know marketing. Those are some of my most fun clients because you can throw blood in their face and they won't flinch. Me, I'll pass out. But you throw sales and marketing in their face and they just pass out. And I'm just like, this is my time. So there was one community she actually sold, and she came to one of my last seminars. And she was doing extremely well. Like before she sold, and she sold for a nice, pretty penny. But I remember telling her, I remember asking her, because she was one of the people who came to the seminar who actually was like at 90% occupancy. And I said, what is the one thing that you're good at? And she says, we're now starting to be known to be able to handle Parkinson's clients. So now as soon as a case manager from Methodist sees that they have a senior with Parkinson's, they immediately associate the two and send them to her. She said majority of the people that she's taking care of, they have Parkinson's. Wow, guys. I mean, think about that. You've already trained a discharge planner, a nurse, a physician to automatically think about you when they see the senior and diagnosis and the need for senior living. So this is one of the reasons, of numerous reasons, why authenticity matters. All right, moving on. Your SWOT analysis. Let me tell you why this is important. If you don't know what you're good at, what your strength is going to be. So we can't say we give good care. You don't know what your weakness is, meaning you don't have enough staff or you don't have a nurse that can give medications or take care of wound care. Your opportunities, you don't know what they are because you haven't done your research, or your threat, right? You don't know any of these things. How are you actually planning to move forward with intention? How are you going to ask for funding if you don't have a really good, conclusive idea of what is going on around you? So your SWOT analysis is going to determine, for example, let's say, I want to give actual examples because I have a story in my head that I want to explain. We've already talked about the location, reputation, and branding. I love this. I can get someone from this video, like I'm going to post it on social media. I guarantee you that I'm going to get someone from this video who's going to call me or send me an email that says that they want to do a contract with me for me to send them clients, right? Reputation and branding. Do you have that online presence that we talked about? Am I going to trust you to give you someone's 90-year-old grandmother? Probably not, right? I'm not going to send my clients to you if your reviews online are bad, or if there's nothing to really show about you. So, because they're going to ask me, this is exactly how it goes. Why did you send this person to me? Why did you send this location to me, right? This is a part of, this could be a strength. This could be a weakness. It depends. So if you do have a fantastic online presence, let's say you Google someone like, I don't know, River Oaks, because River Oaks actually has a really good online presence and I like the staff there. So let's say River Oaks, they take time to make sure that people write reviews. That's a strength. But for your situation, it could be a weakness if you decide not to take advantage of digital marketing. So your weakness would be no one can find you online, or your strength can be someone can find you online, right? So we're taking your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats, and we're trying to figure out what can you do better? Where are you weak at? Where are you super strong? What's your marketing? What's your selling point? Let's go over more examples. Opportunities. I love this. I have only come across maybe 1 to 2 actual smaller size personal care homes that have implemented technology. They actually have smart homes, they have smart monitors, and they also have monitors on the beds to help decrease the fall risks of their clients. That's a super strength. It could also be an opportunity if you don't have it, but it's something that you're willing to pursue, especially if you see the value in it, in your area, in your niche market, in your community, right? Community engagement. There's a lady up on the north side who I'm a super fan of hers. She actually hosts networking breakfasts and brunches, and she serves these cute little champagnes, and she has a chef come in, and there's a whole thing. Her census has skyrocketed that because now she's bringing in more sales reps and more people that see her community, and now they're sending more people to her. It's amazing, right? So that's a community, that's a strength now, but it was an opportunity before she took advantage of it. So when you do your SWOT, and definitely guys, if we're going over this in detail here in the book, right? When you do your SWOT analysis, understand that it can change, understand that it can evolve. Don't get discouraged. If anything, you're having a truthful conversation with yourself when you do your SWOT analysis. This is for you. This is for you to know exactly where you stand and to be confident in where you stand and to know where you can get better at. Where, in what ways you can get better, should I say. I love this. Economic shifts. I'm glad that I put that in there. Be aware of economic conditions that could affect your residents' financial situations and consequently your revenue. In this day and age, I will actually say I'm getting more referrals now because people are moving from their home. Taxes are going up. Everything is going up. The cost of living is going up, but yet their Social Security, their income, all of that stuff, it stays the same. And so now a lot of people are actually looking for cheaper options. So, but you should know that because now this is a marketing ploy, right? If you actually have your home in, let's say, a neighborhood where the costs are rising and it's way too complicated for a senior to keep up, to me, that's an opportunity. All right. Your marketing analysis. This is why I think we kind of went over marketing a lot, but it's pretty straightforward. You guys know once again, sales and marketing at heart, we have a nice long page of digital marketing. I also have a seminar coming up tomorrow, which is called How to Fill Your Beds in 30 Days. It is straight digital marketing and in-person guerrilla marketing one-on-one. I tell people all the time, getting referrals is easy. Because it is. It truly is. Getting referrals is easy. You just have to have a system in place. What chapter is this? Chapter 9. I highly encourage you guys to put emphasis on your marketing. I cannot begin to express to you how many times people have called me to say, hey, Erika, I need a referral. I just did a video the other day. A gentleman calls and he says, I just want to give you a contract so you can fill my beds. One, respectfully, I don't work for you. That's just kind of not the way that it works. Two, I could teach you also how to do those. He doesn't want to learn, which is fine. Three, if you don't have enough money to retain me, sir, I understand that you have a cash flow problem. You cannot avoid marketing your own business. I highly encourage every single person listening to this. Please do not build your home without having an idea of how you're going to market your company, how you're going to get your first 5 clients, and who your first 5 referral sources most certainly absolutely can and should be. From my perspective, I highly encourage you to start your marketing when you start your home. This is what we call the waiting list. This is called, take pictures of your progress. Take pictures of the houses that you're looking at. Take pictures of the renovations that you're doing. Take pictures of the color schemes that you're picking out. Take pictures of when you are staging the home. Put this on social media, release your blog, start your marketing, create your website, have the waiting list, and let people see and join your journey as you're building. You don't have to wait till it's all nice and pretty and finished and done with the sheer panels. Kidding. Kind of kidding. Please don't do sheer panels. But with the sheer panels all on the window, you don't have to wait until it's at that state. You literally can bring people into your creation. People want to see who they're doing business with. Understand you're taking care of someone's mother. You're taking care of someone's father, a close relative, an elder. So understand that people want to know, like, and trust the person who they're entrusting with their prized possession, their mother, their father, their grandmother, right? So understand that marketing is your business. You can't get away from it. So even if you're doing day-to-day, even if you're having a meeting with your staff, even if you're cooking for your residents, even if you're going out marketing, all of this stuff is content. All of this stuff, these are different ways and tactics that you can start get people engaged with you online. Now, let's say that you're just in the process. Let's say you're right here and you don't even have a home. You don't know what location, you haven't done your analysis, you don't know any of that stuff. When should you start your marketing? Now, if your intention is to start a personal care home, start now. Create a website, say personal care home coming soon, right? Join our newsletter to learn more. Start your CRM. Start partnering with home health and hospice companies. Start going to networking events at the hospitals. Start going to networking events at the nursing homes. Start your marketing. It's an idea, but the idea, it has to be an idea in order for it to come to fruition. And once you start marketing it, and once you start putting energy and effort into building your business, you're going to see so quickly how well it all comes together. Marketing never stops, and you don't want to wait until you have hired staff, bought groceries, got toilet paper, and now you're like, where am I going to get my clients from? I need to pay $3,000 to a placement agent. If that's the case, you might as well do digital marketing or hiring staff or something like that. I just understand, guys, marketing should not be the last thing on your list. If any successful business owner markets their business, period and point blank. So we have digital marketing, we have social media presence, we have online reputation management. I highly recommend Google My Business. I highly also recommend, a lot of people don't know about Nextdoor. Underrated, underutilized for sure. The population that you're looking for is on Nextdoor. Homeowners, middle-aged, aging parents, if not aging themselves, need to downsize, all of those different things. Nextdoor is like your little gold mine. Once again, I love using the term shooting fish in a bucket because I feel like getting referrals is easy. That's definitely one of the places that I would send you, especially once you establish your home. And for Google My Business and for Nextdoor, you need an actual address in order to validate your account. So once you do find your location and all that good stuff and you start getting situated and you're able to receive mail there, that would be a fantastic opportunity to start your marketing. Free game. All right. Oh, email marketing. Have you ever opted in, let's say you visited a website, you gave them your email address, and then you started receiving their newsletters? This is something that you also want to do for your home. Not only can your email marketing help to nurture relationships with your potential clients, with referral sources, with interesting parties, if you have a waiting list, all that good stuff, not only can it help nurture those relationships, but once you grow and you start experiencing good problems, right? Such as, I was full and then this happened, so forgive me, but death came. And when death comes, anybody will tell you, death does not come for one, death comes in pairs. It's always a double. One goes, it's always one or two more that follow suit. I hate to say this, but if you worked in the industry, people are like, yeah, I know it happens just that way. But that's a good problem, right? You have done your job. You have successfully helped make somebody comfortable. You gave them support, attention, loved, all of these good things. And this is the end of their journey, and you were fortunate enough to make an impact at the end of their journey. So that's a good problem. Like you received them, you made a profit, right? You made an impact, and when their time has expired, they transition on. But now, as a business owner, that leaves you in a situation where now, let's just say you're decreasing revenue of about $6,000-$7,000. Now what, right? So how are you going to quickly get those clients back? A lot of people just, they like, oh, well, I'm going to get out there and market again. You should never stop marketing. And this is one of the reasons why email marketing is so important, because how lovely would it be able to be to say, to send your email out to people on your waiting list that says, bed available this coming Friday, new paint, updated, such and such. You're able to upsell this rare availability because it hasn't been available for 2 years, right? And now that you have that space available, obviously you're going to do some maintenance to it. You're going to spruce it up a bit. Why not showcase that? And it's available for pre-lease. And you're able to do that from your cell phone. You're able to do that from your laptop, guys. So this is why email marketing is so incredibly important. And we're going to go over that more in my sales and marketing seminar tomorrow. Now, here's the fun stuff that I love. This is where we got down to the nitty gritty. Why is all of the things that we just talked about, from establishing a vision, finding the location, the right location, determining what type of staff that you want, the talent that you want, knowing everything about the area and the location that you're trying to develop your business. Why is all of this important? Your business plan. And why is a business plan important? Money. There is definitely going to be a time in your journey where you're going to consider getting investors. Every business owner has that internal conversation with themselves, like, should I get an investor? Like, I could use $500,000. Should I? You know, especially if you have good problems, and we're just going to go on ahead and claim good problems, not bad problems. But let's say you have a good problem where you now have a waiting list. Your business is booming. All 6 of your beds are full. You have 4 people on the waiting list. You have referral sources that keep sending you referrals and you just can't take them. You can't expand quick enough. Now, do you want an investor? Right? So this is why your business plan is important. This is why knowing where you are, where you're going to be, how you're getting there, and how much you're going to charge along the way, how much your overhead is. This is why all of these things are important, because no one's going to write you a check for $500,000 and they don't have a relationship with you and they can't see your vision. If you don't see your vision first, I promise you, Chase or Mr. Private Investor Chase is not going to cut you a check for $500,000. They're not even going to entertain it. Now, the other part of your business plan, and I won't get too much into this. I'll wait for that. So if you have done your marketing plan, if you've done your SWOT analysis, if you have thoroughly been on this journey with me with visualizing what it is that you want and how to do it, your business plan is actually going to be a breeze. If you don't know how to do a business plan, go to ChatGPT. And I mean this because a lot of guys, well, if you don't know, I did tell you earlier that I love tech. I love AI hacks. Like, I was able to spend 3 months in Jamaica because I automated my business and I started receiving, just business left and right. I didn't have to do anything but, the little computer work, right? There are AI tools out there to make this journey that you're on so much easier. I'm talking about from interior decorating, business plans, proposals, contracts, marketing, finance, all of the things that really kind of seem like a hurdle in some ways really truly aren't when you're using and utilizing AI. So for an example like this, if you've been on the journey with me of visualizing what it is that you want, and we've done all of the previous other steps, right? Let's say we've done all the other 9 steps. Your business plan is going to be a breeze. So you would go to ChatGPT. I think it's like openai.chatgpt.com. Anyway, Google ChatGPT. It'll pop up. And just tell it, hey, I want to do a business plan for my personal care home. It's located Houston, Texas, 027. 1 story, 4-bedroom house, charging $3,500 per bed. My referral sources are Methodist and St. Luke's and Dr. Zaza because I work there. Blah, blah, blah. You just tell it everything that it needs to know. And then it's going to prompt back to you either a generic business plan, or it's going to ask you more questions to help you kind of create one. Please, guys, for the sake of the universe out there, don't just take the first thing that pops up and say, "Ooh, this is good. I'm going to use this." No, like actually, truly take time and do your business plan. Like, let it prompt you and let it help you, yes, but fill it out to the best of your ability, because a human is a human investor who's looking to make his money grow. He's looking for a good place, a good, safe, reliable place to put his money. He's only going to put his money with you if he can see your vision, he can understand your vision, and he knows that you're passionate enough to do what you say that you're going to do with the money, and you know how to invest the money in order to make the money grow and pay it back. or with interest or whatever you guys decide to talk about. So this is why your business plan is important. So don't look at it as something that you most certainly should skip over and not do. I don't recommend that at all. I highly recommend that you have a business plan on hand, because when it comes time for funding, you don't want to start freaking out. And that takes us into chapter 11, get funding. Getting funding. I love this part. People say all the time, getting money is so hard. I'm like, no, it's not, especially in Texas. I don't know why, but it's like it's so many real estate investors out here. It's so many people that are into investing into businesses. Texas is definitely a good place to get invested. Oh, in Georgia. In Chicago, actually. But anyway, I digress. So getting funding, there's plenty of places. Obviously, you can go to the bank, you can get investors, you can do crowdfunding. You can get government insured loans. There are some nonprofits. Obviously, you have grants, you have women groups, especially women groups. Like there's a lot of women entrepreneurs that follow and that are personal care homeowners. Please do not undervalue grant giving from women initiatives. That's all I can say. Like there's a lot of support for women right now, especially minorities. Go get the money. But once again, you have to have a business plan. You have to know where you're going. You can't just say, I have a business, I have a personal care home, and I would like $500,000 if you don't mind granting me that. Just doesn't work like that. So guys, definitely go over this chapter a little bit more, because also I feel it just came to me to put emphasis on this. If you're going to do funding, if you're going to get funding, also to please get an attorney involved. Don't just, because I have people who do this, when they call me for advice, and I'm not an attorney, by the way, or a financial advisor, but it's like, get an attorney involved, because how are you going to accept the money, sign the contracts legally? Like, are you please don't just be out there looking for the money for someone to infuse cash into your business, and there's no terms written on how they're going to get it back, or if they're going to be part owner, if you're giving up some of your ownership. Like, get an attorney involved and talk to a financial advisor as well. Like when you're doing your business plan, if you don't have your financials taken care of as well, like please don't have your business and your personal together. Like have those things separate. Especially you can link it all to QuickBooks. QuickBooks is easy. It just kind of itemizes everything for you. So when you do give it to your tax person or your CPA or your financial advisor, they can see everything going in and out. They can see how you're investing your money, how you're spending your money. And it also helps you to keep track of your profits. It also helps you to see where you're spending the most money and all those good things. So guys, you definitely need that. So if you're going to seek funding, know where you stand financially. Okay. And if you do decide to just seek funding based off of your credit score and all those other things, that's nice. That's beautiful. But at least have an idea of how much your home is going to be, how much the furniture is going to be, what is your overhead, the food costs, how much you're going to charge. Once again, you can find a checklist for that on my website, carehometoolkit.com. But have those things, like be prepared to have those type of conversations, okay? And I think we're going to talk about that a little bit more in my financial seminar that I have coming up in April. So I'll keep you guys updated on that. So now that you have your funding, right? Let's say that, because one of my followers on here, she's just starting out. Home yet. She's in the process of looking, like she's way in the beginning of the process. So let's say that, all right, you got pre-approved because she wants to buy a home to do this with, because you know of the family dynamic, which is fine. So you already have the funding. You decided to get funding from the bank. You decided that you're going to do it in let's say Katy, Texas, by the Katy Medical Center. because that's where your son goes to school at, and that's where it's close to your job. All right. So I'm just putting this together for you. You have your funding. Now, you're pre-approved. How do you find that perfect home, right? What does a personal care home, what should it encapsulate for it to be the perfect home? It's definitely not a 2-story. Okay. And I know that I'm going to get backlash from this because there are plenty of people that have 2-story homes, but seniors just don't like stairs. I don't know how else to put that. I mean, you can argue with your perspective and my perspective on this as much as you want to, but if you have a senior, they don't like stairs. They're probably a fall risk. They're probably using an assistive device. They're probably on multiple medications. All of that stuff says, do not put a senior with stairs. The statistics don't lie, okay? So I'm not a part of the monkey see, monkey do crew. Please, as a senior living locator, as a senior living expert, please try for a 1-story. If there are a couple of stairs or what have you to get into the actual house, like I know in Chicago, a lot of houses have stairs. Because of the snow, it's hard to find 1-stories without like 6 steps going up to the top. I understand this. So every demographic area is completely different. I am not taking anything away from that. If you do have a 2-story and you're only trying to get 4 clients, let's try to accommodate them on the first floor. Once again, just you have buildable ramps, you have buildable stairways. Google ADA accessibility, guys, because this is going to help you in the longest of the longest run. You want it to be accessible to the senior. I promise you that. So what are you looking for in Houston? A 1-story. You want to make sure that a wheelchair can fit through there, right? You want to make sure that the wheelchair is easily accessible with the bathrooms. You want to make sure that there's ample lighting. You want to make sure that it's safe, secure, that you have fire extinguishers, like the whole 9 yards. Make it as homely as possible. Please don't go into this thinking, all right, well, this matches my budget and this is good enough. No, I have been in some extremely cramped and uncomfortable personal care homes doing tours. And I'm like, how do they get a wheelchair in through here? Well, they use the bedside commode. Why? When they could walk? So do you see where I'm coming from with this? You have to be very, you have to put your client first. Put yourself in the mindset of the client that you're trying to accept. Once again, if you're okay with accepting clients in a wheelchair or that have limited mobility and need assistance going to and from the bathroom, what you don't want to do is just give them a bedside commode, because that's kind of doing something with their dignity. And it's also not empowering them to the best of your or their capabilities just by giving them a bedside commode, because you don't have functioning bathrooms that are good enough for a wheelchair. So if you're knowing this and you don't have a home yet, I put so much emphasis on, please make sure that, at least, 36 inches? Yeah, 36 inches. Ramps, gosh, that's a hard one, especially when it comes to places that snow, like Chicago. But if it's a necessity, make sure you have the grab bars, not just on the ramps, but in the bathrooms. Multiple exits. In case of an emergency, you do not want there to only be one exit in and out, and you do not want to just include like the windows because they're seniors. Front door, back door. If there's another side door, obviously the more exits, the better. Your bathrooms, we've already went over that. Your sprinkler systems, highly encouraged, by the way. I mean, you would do that for your kids, right? Fire alarms, the sprinkler system, they're pretty easy to get installed. If you have any other questions about that too, like in your particular area, go to your fire department. And I tell this to personal care homeowners all the time. Outside of getting some inside knowledge and inside expertise into what it is that you're trying to build in your building and your craft and things of that nature, fire departments are also very good referral sources. They know the little old ladies that call the fire department just because they're lonely. They know these things, like they're part of the community. So I've actually received quite an amount of referrals from marketing to firefighter departments in my day. So very good referral source. Also too, your location, by the way, I forgot to mention this, your HOA and your deed restrictions. Like, don't just buy a house because it looks good and it gives you everything. Like my house, the Senior Suites of Katy, I mean, everything was perfect. Outside of the need to elongate a couple of door frames, if I would have decided to take residents with wheelchairs, outside of that, like I was pretty good. That HOA, there wasn't anything in the HOA that said that I couldn't. So I took advantage of that. I don't know what it is now because I don't have that house anymore, but still. Yeah, so find out the HOA and the deed restrictions as well, because you just kind of don't want any problems, or you might. I know some people don't care. I actually kind of didn't care. I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't care. I wasn't going to take the max that I was going to have was like 3 to 4 people. I had a corner lot. I had more than enough space. I had more than enough parking. The clientele would, healthy enough that ambulance, there wouldn't be a need for ambulance all the time. There was a huge backyard that looked at the water. I just didn't see why anybody would have any issues. Plus, I was one of the first. It was a new build. I was actually the first person to move into that neighborhood. So everybody kind of came after me. So I don't know. I just kind of took advantage of the situation. But kind of keep that in mind, because you don't want someone to mess up your business, especially if you decide that you're leasing from someone who is in an HOA. Keep that in mind. Parking, because I see that on here and I also just mentioned it. Let me tell you why you want to make sure that there's ample parking. Staff. So a lot of times, now this is one great way to get attention on your home. You have a bunch of cars outside and you have a lot of movement, people coming and going. So let's just take Senior Suites of Katy, for example. Let's say I have 4 clients there and I decided to turn that into a hospice house instead of more of like the Golden Girls concept. So with the hospice, right, there's going to be hospice nurse. There's the family visiting. There's the staff that's there in my business already. There is probably therapy if I have home health for one of the residents. Let's say she fell and broke her hip for something unrelated to hospice, and now she's on therapy and on hospice, right? I can't have all of this traffic in addition to, let's say they're on hospice but haven't gotten around to signing the DNR yet, which I don't know how that happens, but sometimes it does. But the ambulance has to get called. So now you have all of this activity in a residential neighborhood. So this is why parking is very important. That's kind of keep that in mind. Backup generators, because we're going to get into that in another chapter coming up. But backup generators is also very important, especially depending on the place that you're in. Houston, Texas, we flood, and apparently our power goes out when it gets cold, and our power could also go out when it gets hot. We don't really know what's happening. Backup generator. You want that. You want to make sure that your house is prepared or accommodating and accessible for all of those things. So just something for you to think about as you're visualizing your business, right? Passing inspection and fire safety. Chapter 13. Familiarize yourself with the National Fire Protection Association standards. We go over the code, which is NPA 101, the Life Safety Code, which applies to residential care facilities. Okay. Your local and your state regulations definitely post on the internet. Once again, your fire department is going to be one of your best allies and probably one of your best referral sources as well. Obviously, the smoke detectors, obviously the extinguishers. There, if you decide to go for licensed, in some instances, you might have to have copper wiring and all of these other good things. So all of the, depending on where you are and when you go to your area of aging, your department of aging, your health and human services department for opening up a residential care home, a personal care home, a senior living, a group home, whatever they decide to call it, in your city and state or your town, I assure you it's going to have an fire safety protocol, procedure, and guideline. You want to follow this, especially if you're going to get licensed. Now, once again, remember we were talking about the costs. You might have to modify your home if you're trying to get licensed. You might have to modify your home to accommodate the sprinkler system, accommodate the emergency exits, the widths of the door. Please keep all of those things in mind as you're visualizing and you're building your home to know what it is that you're creating and how much this is going to cost, right? When you do get your staff, you want to make sure that you obviously do fire drills and safety training. That should go without saying, but definitely something that's very, very, very important. You want to practice the in case of an emergency scenarios, especially evacuation plans. True story, Hurricane Harvey. That was a tough time because senior communities did go underwater. Like I personally helped to evacuate one of the Brookdale communities. And when I tell you there are seniors in wheelchairs and water, you don't forget that visual. You don't forget the feeling of anxiety and stress and scared at being at such an old age of experience, and they're in this situation where they feel vulnerable. Like to feel that anxiety and that stress, that is something that you can't prepare for. But when emergency hits, you don't want to have to be in a situation to think about what to do next. You want to know instinctively what to do. And I didn't know, this was my first time, in a flood for one. And being able to assist and help evacuation and rescue efforts, that puts you in a completely different mindset. In the company that I was working with at the time, they actually had what was called a call tree. And if someone was unavailable, it just kind of went to the next person in line, and it started from the higher ups down, and they kept accountability of everybody. They knew where everyone was. If anybody needed help and someone was close by, they worked in another department, they just kind of got people on the same accord. Like it was a coordinated team effort, and my hat really truly does go off to them. I was very impressed with the way that they handled things. I have nothing bad to say about them. But it really does go to show that you can't just, I encourage you not to just collect the residents and collect the money and not think about the what ifs, especially in Houston where it floods. And what if a hurricane does come? And what if we have to evacuate? Where are the clients going to go? How are they able to evacuate? If you get someone, let's say that they walked in the community, but by time, let's say a month or two later, they just declined because that's just the natural progress of their state or their disease or their illness. How do you get a bedbound person who's now a two-person assist? How do you evacuate them in case of an emergency? Where does this person go who's also bedbound? How do you transfer them? How do you get them from the bed to the ambulance, the bed to the car, the bed to their family? What if they don't have family here? Where, and then on top of that, where do you put them? So with this particular company that I was with, they even sent seniors to their competitor. This is how of much of importance it was, the safety and the security of every single client and resident and staff member that they had. They sent people to their competitors and gave them that money to take care of them while they were doing rehab, while they were doing all those things. It makes my heart full when you think about that, but you have to be prepared. So Fire department collaboration, can't emphasize that enough, but knowing your vulnerabilities, this is also part of your SWOT analysis for your home, not just for your business, but for your business in its entirety, but your property and your residence, your SWOT analysis. What are your opportunities and your threats and your weaknesses too? And that could be one of them. So highly encourage you guys to take some time into your evacuation and your evacuation plan and preparedness, which takes us to number 14, chapter 14. So one of the things that I did learn from evacuating people during Harvey was that call tree that I just told you guys about. It was highly effective because it also let the staff know that our coworkers were okay. I was managing a team of like 8 at that time. I had to know where every single person was, what address, like if you need anybody or if you need anything, like who has a pickup truck, who can go to walk through water to come and get you and take you to safety. Like we all really came together as one unit, and I'm so very proud of us for that. But when you are preparing your business for evacuation, you want to think of all scenarios, not just what's typical, like in Houston is flooding and hurricanes, but what about a fire? What about a freeze? Because Senior Suites of Katy, I was in there by myself. I didn't have power for 3 days. It was cold in there. That was because the power went out due to ice in Texas. So prepare yourself for every single act of God and other. Where do your residents go? Do they go to the competitor? How far in advance? Like if you want them to go with their family, how far in advance do you have to let the family know? These are all the things that you should be having the families agreeing to and acknowledging upon arrival. You don't wait until they get here and you're like, all right, this is what we're going to do in case of emergency. No, when they're bringing their mom into your facility, that should definitely be a page on the contract that they acknowledge this is what happens in case of fire, flood, tornado, whatever act of God there's going to be. The family needs to know that they can't just drop their parent off at your business, which happens, by the way. You're going to see a lot of that side, but which happens, by the way, and everything else that happens after that is up to me. No, that's not the case. So really taking some time to deep dive into that. Chapter 15, furniture and supplies. I get this all the time too, because that is a big part of the overhead costs. I have found a hack that some of my personal care home owner friends were doing because she had the opportunity to flip a home really quick because she had a waiting list. So we were able to find a landlord who was renting his 1-story. She moved in very quickly. She didn't have the furniture, so she used Court. Court came in that following day, furnished the whole thing. She already had the medical beds. That's what she did have. She already had the medical beds. She ordered a whole bunch of stuff off of Amazon and Walmart between 24 to 48 hours. I think it was 48 hours. She had that entire place flipped over, ready for it to accommodate the people that she had on her waiting list, right? Good problems to have. The only bad part of that, in a way, is that Court can be kind of expensive if you're paying it per month, but they also give you the option to pay off the furniture that you rent, to pay it off in full without having to return it. So because she was able to successfully move all of those people in, she just paid for the furniture. Fantastic strategy, I guess, but there's also, everybody is not in that situation to have a good problem, should I say. But furniture sells. I don't know how else to tell you that. I have been into more homes than I can count. And in addition to the furniture selling, it has to also be comfortable, and you definitely will want it to accommodate a senior. So for example, seniors have a hard time getting up and down. If you ever watch a senior, they might get up with their arms and it might take an extra time. So you don't want something that's too high and you don't want something that's too low. Especially since, little old ladies, for example, they kind of shrink a little bit. So you want something that's not too high where the feet is dangling, not too low, where it's too much energy and effort for them to get up or it's hard. You want the beds to be the same way. Obviously, you want grab bars, but you want to keep in mind the cosmetic appeal. I went into one home where everything was black. This was ran by a man. And I told him, I said, there's a lot of masculine energy in here. I mean, we got the black panels. We got the this was the color of the couch. Like the decor was black and gold. And I told this gentleman, I'm like, well, obviously your audience is male. Obviously you're not really trying to attract the little old ladies, because what little old lady is going to be, it's so deep and dark and masculine. It's so hard in here. This is not a place for her to feel soft, pretty, and comfortable. This is where a man can release his macho manliness. And so we just kind of upsold that. We ended up, he had like a little nook area off to the side and like the back. And we just kind of turned that into the man cave, and it's full of veterans, right? Authenticity, knowing who your clientele is, and knowing how to decorate and style your place. You have to know who you want to attract in order for you to decorate that, right? So if you're going to, let's say you already have furniture from an old house, because one of my clients on here that's listening, this is how she had a family home. And so her intention is to use that family furniture for her personal care home. Just understand that while this is furniture in a house, it might not speak to the ideal client that you're trying to attract. Does that make sense? So if you have tall furniture because your husband and your kids are tall, that's not really going to work for a little old lady who just wants to sit down and watch her shows. She might sink in too much into the couch, or it might hurt her back or her bum. So these are just all things that you just have to remember, that your furniture is one of the focal points, and you want to give that sense of welcome, that sense of home and cleanliness and comfort. You don't want tears in the furniture, even though it might be used. You don't want smells. You don't want any of those things. So even if you're starting on a budget, still don't have those things. Maybe you just need to take a couple more times, or, seek partnerships. Reach out to us at Care Home Toolkit. We might be able to help you, partner with someone in your area if you're having a hard time starting up. But remember, you're also going to, and I highly encourage people when they're doing their sales and marketing to use their actual legitimate photos of their house. There's no need to use stock images of, the models taking care of other models in model wheelchairs. We don't need all that. Show us the nitty gritty. Show us what you look like. Show us what your staff looks like. Show us what kind of food you're creating. Show us what the bathroom looks like. Show us where we're going to sleep. Show us, what activities. Show us the garden. Show us everything. Show us you. Be authentic and show us you. And you don't want to show us holy raggedy furniture, or furniture that doesn't match, or just something that looks like, here's my personal care home, send me clients. Please don't do that. Alrighty. And I think for the most part, I've covered the most important things on there, which is definitely the size of the furniture and the styling. Big part. Chapter 16, hiring the right staff. Good help is hard to find. Good help is hard to find. And it starts with you. You are a reflection of the staff that you hire. You have to take, if you made the wrong hire, you have to take that loss. You have to eat that. You have to own that. You have to know, like, I did that. I was rushing. I was just trying to get somebody here. This is my fault, right? So I highly encourage you, if you have not been in that position to where hiring and firing makes you uncomfortable, understand that you want to hire slow and fire fast. I don't know if you've heard that saying before, but it is so true. Hire slow, fire fast. Be 100% transparent in what it is that you're looking for and what you're going to tolerate. There is such a high turnover with caregivers in the senior living space, in the senior healthcare space in general. I mean, ask anybody. Even with sales reps, right? If you, like, I have this running joke that if you haven't been fired from Brookdale, like, have you even really been working in sales? It's like a rite of passage. It's like, oh, how long have you been in sales? 10 years? Did you get fired from Brookdale too? Yes. Ah! Everybody gets fired from Brookdale. Don't take it personal. So I know firsthand that we all in this industry, we all recycle the same people, the same talent, the same accounts, the same, all of that good stuff. Knowing that though, if you're hiring somebody who has worked for every senior living community and can't hold a job for over a year, this is not somebody you want to hire. If you meet them and you have just this feeling that it just doesn't vibe with you, that's just not somebody you want to hire. And I can't speak for other places, but Texas is an at-will state. So someone can just not show up if they decided to. You can also fire someone if you decided to. Texas is an at-will state. There's not all of this rigmarole of having to go through all of these steps, especially if you're a private owner. So with that being said, I cannot tell you how many times I have walked into a personal care home and there is somebody's brother or cousin Ray who is now the caregiver because he needs a place to stay. I highly recommend, I highly go against that. If you are taking care of elderly, vulnerable clients, a population that needs to be handled with care and attention, just having a body there is not good enough. If this person's strong suit is to clean and do maintenance, then put that person in that position to clean, do maintenance, do repairs, do the lawn, not wiping someone's grandmother front to back. Does that make sense? So I understand that startup costs can be high when it comes to caregiver and hiring staff, especially hiring someone of top-notch talent, but please don't sacrifice your talent just to say, I have staff and we're ready to take referrals. Do your due diligence, get on Indeed, get with a recruiter, network, go to the other senior living communities, go to, have a hiring fair, have a job fair, hire continuously, never stop. You never stop looking for caregivers, because when you find a good caregiver, you hold on for dear life. And now you want 2 more of them. But things happen and life happens and people move on and people find better opportunities, especially if that person is really good. So you never want to stop hiring when it comes to caregiver, because guess what? If your caregivers get fired or quit, you are now the one who has to go in to wipe front to back. I'm not a nurse, so I have a problem with that personally, right? So hiring the right staff, don't just do it just to say you've done it. And even when I tour homes, in the back of my mind, that's kind of like a ding, because like, oh, this is your cousin. How nice. And where's his shirt at? Does he live here too? Why is he walking around here with no shirt on? I thought this was supposed to be the resident's home. He just works here, but he lives here too. Okay. So he's just walking around here with no shirt on and flip-flops on and basketball shorts. Definitely don't want to send you that many referrals anymore. All right. So hiring the right staff. You can definitely do background checks. I have a list of resources on here where you can do background checks, where you can post for jobs, the different associations that you can join, training resources, and legal and compliance information for when you do hire those people. I do also highly encourage you to seek financial and legal advice if you're going to do them on a 1099 or if you're going to hire them as a full-time employee. Remember, all of this stuff matters, especially if you're going to start the way you want to finish. So do you want to sell? Are you selling with a full-time caregiver or a full-time landscape, like full-time anything, or is everybody contracted on 1099, right? So your financial advisor will go over that a little bit more. So now, chapter 17, because we are running out of a little bit of time because I talk too much, but I just love what I do. So chapter 17 is marketing, advertising, and we are going to merge that one with chapter 18 because in a way it goes together. I've already given you guys some tips on marketing and advertising. I swear by digital marketing and business automation. I think business automation is the best form of self-love and self-care, especially for an entrepreneur, because who wants to sit down and do tedious tasks all day? We have so many other things that we could be doing besides sending thank you follow-up emails and building relationships and calling on accounts and reminding people to do tours and be where they say they're going to be. We have so many other things. So can't emphasize digital marketing enough. If you do decide to hire a sales rep, verify that they have the connections that they say they have. There are so many personal care homeowners that have gotten burned by sales reps that are like, oh, I can give you 20 clients a month. Oh, I could give you 10 clients a month. I could do that. That's easy. Really? But you have worked for 3 different companies in the last 2 years. Right? How good are you? Do reference checks. Do talk to past employers. Do go out and market with them. See if they can give you a referral in advance, right? There's so many different ways to kind of like test them to see if they are good enough to work for your company, because you have to remember they're also the face of your company. So you don't want to just have any and everybody marketing your business and keeping those contacts and those referrals for themselves, because your purpose is to grow. So in addition with your marketing and advertising, guys, this is a huge hack right here. Have a CRM. Your big companies, your Atrias, your Brookdales, your Lifestylers, Senior Livers, all of these people, they are successful because they know where their business is coming from. They know the business that they lost. They know who sent them a referral 2 years ago. They know everything. If you're relying only on a marketer to do the business for you and you have no way of them growing your business for you on your behalf, you are investing your money wrong. If you're only looking like the gentleman I spoke to recently who only wants to pay me, $3,000 per client to give him 6 clients, you could you could pay me, but you can also hire a sales rep that's actually going to help build your business and help build the relationships with the physicians with you, the case managers, the discharge planners, because if this sales and marketing person decides to leave, they can take their contacts with them. And if you haven't done anything that you need to do there, it's nothing worse than being in that position of vulnerability because you didn't proactively help market your business. You let everyone else do the marketing for you and you just sat back counting money like cash is king. There will be a time where you feel this feeling in the pit of your gut of what I'm talking about right now, where you realize that you didn't do enough and you actually have not built a business. You made some profit, you broke even, but did you really build your business? If something just like that, like COVID in my case, can knock you out. You go from, I ain't gonna say how much, but you can not a lot of money to like, wait a minute, hold on. I need to get back into the hospital. You see where your vulnerabilities lie. And so I'm just here to encourage you guys, when your sales and marketing, your CRM, your email marketing, your social media, your online presence, all of those things are important. I just can't emphasize that enough. So we've talked about sales and marketing a lot, but guys, just don't allow someone else to go and build your business for you. That's that monkey see, monkey do mentality that I experience a lot here. I highly discourage against it. Now, getting referrals. We have 2 more chapters after that, but I'm actually not going to go over those because you should have the book. But it's pretty much accepting residents and keeping residents. But getting referrals. I want to spend the last little time that I have left on this. If you're starting out, money is limited. There is, you don't have a lot of money for digital marketing right now. Do the stuff that's free. This is what I would do if I was, let's say we were in a situation, because I already told you, if you're looking for your home, once you have, if you have that intention on getting a home, you have the cash flow right here, right? You have the intention on spending money. You have money to invest. highly recommend in this stage that you start your digital marketing, right? Highly recommend it. But in case you don't, and you're at the space now where you have your home, you have the staff, you have everything else, you might even have brochures and business cards, but you don't know how to market. You don't know how to get in the communities to build your business. Well, there are, let's see, there's so many ways. I'm trying to figure out what order I would do it in if I didn't know anyone or anything. If I didn't know anyone or anything, I would get on Google, which I should have done already with my marketing and SWOT and competitive analysis. And I would start with every nursing home in that area. And I would call to speak to the sales rep, actually. Okay, it's telling me I have 15 more minutes. Yay. I would reach out to the sales and to the admissions, to the sales and marketing person first of the nursing home. And I would do this for the hospitals and the rehab communities. And I would figure out every networking event that they have with sales reps and communities. So remember, there's an ecosystem. Everybody wants business from the hospitals. Then everybody also wants business from the nursing homes. The nursing homes also wants business from the hospitals, and the hospitals wants business from everywhere, right? So remember, you have all these different communities of people that are always interested in meeting people like you. You don't think of yourself as just a personal care homeowner, because I know a lot of people are like, I don't know. No, you are very valuable. You are offering something fantastic that the community needs, and there's something about you that is just so unique. You might have excellent Parkinson's experience, or both of your parents might have had dementia, memory care issues, and you're proficient in this because you've done the dementia training and all of your staff has done dementia training. Or, you're bilingual and you're a fantastic cook of authentic Mexican cuisine. Whatever that thing that makes you unique, somebody's looking for you. Somebody wants to know that you exist because they have somebody for you. They have a referral source for you. So if it was me just starting out, I would go to the nursing homes, go to the hospitals, meet the salespeople, get in their clique, become friends with them, go to their networking events, support their efforts that they're doing, because these are the people that are in the accounts of the people that you want to know. These are the people that are in the accounts with the doctors and the nurses and the case managers and the discharge planners. These are the people that can get you straight past the gatekeeper, because she knows her already. She's already worked her. Okay, she spent 2 years working her. And now if you want to ride along with her, all you got to do is just bring coffee, give her a coffee or a Coke or a Pepsi. This is Texas. They don't do the Pepsi thing, but whatever. This is your in to the back to the gatekeepers. And when you get there, don't just give them a little raggedy brochure and say, hey, send me your clients, and then, circle back with them and follow up and say, hey, you got anything for me? That's not real life. That's not the way that it goes. You have to be intentional with, especially if you need business right now, you have to be intentional with your visit. Don't say, hey, I want you to come out for a tour. They're not going to leave there. Once it's time for them to go home, they're going home. They're not coming to your personal care home. Be intentional. My name is Erika. I am Spanish speaking. I am from Mexico. I cook authentic Mexican cuisine. I would like to cook for you guys so you can taste my cuisine, and you can, tell any of your Spanish speaking residents that I'm available and I'm only 15 minutes down the road. I can also bring in my nurse who will come in to do the evaluation, who's also Spanish speaking. So in case you do have anyone at that time, they can meet her. You can see a reflection of my business. Understand, now as a case manager or social worker, I'm getting to know who you are. I'm getting to know your unique value proposition. I'm getting to know that you're not just a personal care homeowner that's like, here's my personal care home. And okay, so here's my phone number. You got any referrals for me? Don't do that. Be intentional. So that's what I would do if I was doing it in person. If you had digital marketing sprinkled on the top of that, that would also be good. If you had a CRM intertwined in that, which I highly recommend, that would also be good, because when they give you their business card, you can put that in their CRM and you can have the system automatically send an email that says, Miss Gloria, so nice to meet you. I look forward to seeing you again next Wednesday from 2:30 to 3. Well, I'll bring you a taste of Senior Suites of Katie, the premier Spanish speaking casa. As you can see, I'm struggling here, but you get what I'm talking about. Like your own unique thing. And now you have a reason for showing back up again. Like they remember, okay, now she's Spanish speaking and she knows how to cook and she's going to let me taste her food. Who doesn't like to eat free food, especially if you swear by your cooking? And that's just one example of many. There could be so many other different things. There could be, entertainment. You could be a musician at heart. You could be a smokers community. Like I'm, not in Texas, but in Chicago, you can have a community for hippies or something like that. You could have a pet-friendly cuddle bunny, community where we have bunnies, bunny lovers. I don't care, whatever it is that makes you unique. This is what I would encourage you to sell. So that's what I would do if I needed to get clients fast. If I needed to get clients even faster, most certainly, hands down, it would be digital marketing. Oh, and also huge point, when you guys are going to your networking events, which I highly recommend, collect as many business cards as you possibly can. See, let's see, for example, let's say you go to a networking event and you come back with all of these business cards. I want you to keep this vision in your head. This is revenue. These are referral sources. These are people that know, like, and hopefully eventually trust you, know your name, know your brand, know that you exist. These people right here, because you've met them, you've connected with them, and you're going to have your CRM follow up with them to say, nice to meet you. I look forward to seeing you again. Here's a calendar invite. I'm having a networking event. I'm having an open house. I'm having a talk. I'm going to be at such and such church giving a speaker, whatever. Like there's so many different reasons why I could be reaching out to every single person to let them know that I'm a senior living locator and that, as people age, they come into situations that are just very confusing and overwhelming, but to just simply give me a call or here's my calendar link or save me your cell phone as senior living expert. And so if you ever need anything, just type in senior living. If you can't remember Erika Crossley, something, but this is money. Okay. So get out there, network, understand and trust that people want to send you business. Getting referrals is easy. And if you think about it like this, let's say that you decide to get your property by Methodist, big hospital system. Let's say you decide to get your property by Methodist. Keep this in mind. I only need X amount of beds that you have. I only need 4 beds filled. I only need 6 beds. There's all of Houston. You mean to tell me that there's not 6 people in this area with $3,000 that's Spanish speaking and like Mexican food? I don't know why I'm stuck on that, but I am, because I feel like that's also an underserved population. And I don't know enough Spanish speaking people, and the people that I do know, I've filled their beds already. But you see what I'm saying? So just keep in mind that you only have this amount of clients that you need to attract to your business. And therefore, everybody needs to know that you exist in every way, shape, form, or fashion in order for you to attract those 6 people. So I hope that helped. We have only a couple of minutes left. Let me see. Does anybody want to ask any questions? See, I think I put this out there already. I did polls, chats. Hey, East Texas, I see you. Any questions? Anybody have anything? My screen is locked. So the question is for digital marketing. I have enough time to answer that. Thank you for the text. For digital marketing, Yes and no. So the question is it expensive? To set it up? No. To get your brand out to as many people as possible, it can be. I've done marketing analysis on large communities like Monster, like, you know, the Brookdale systems. It's not abnormal for that kind of corporation to spend six figures per month on ads, or someone like a Place for Mom, or anybody that ranks high as far as assisted living, or, you know, anything like that is concerned. So six figures, yeah. Do you need to? No. Once again, this is where that unique value proposition comes in at, because let's say if you were to, we can stick with Parkinson's. Let's say that you are very excellent at, sorry, I'm getting another alert that's saying I have 5 minutes. So you're very excellent at Parkinson's, managing Parkinson's patients. I would market that. It's hard for you to beat me if I say Parkinson's, expert Parkinson's care in Katy, Texas. So you just have to be strategic with your online strategy. You have to know about SEO and keywords. And guys, just so you know, at Care Home Toolkit, we handle digital marketing. So we can help you start your websites, order the business cards, brochures. We can help with the business plan. We can help with the marketing. This is what I do, because I'm a senior living locator. So I get referrals from all over the US, right? Depending on where, you know, especially like for Florida during hurricane season, it's really good. People need a place to go in Houston and Louisiana, all of these different places, or, you know, the wintertime when it's cold and people want to come down south to stay with their family. So you just have to know who you're trying to target. So let's say if you just got a place in the Heights, I would build a marketing strategy around you getting people that are from the Heights. People typically want to stay in the community that they're in. So we would only do a small radius. If you're in the Heights, there's no need to spend ad money on people in the Woodlands. And you have 6 beds that you're trying to fill. Why are you going way up here? That's a hard shot. So anyway, we build a marketing strategy tailored around your marketing strategy. If you're hiring a sales rep and you are hiring for the Heights area, right? We can just do digital marketing efforts that can help your sales reps with the brand recognition. So if somebody Googles your company, they can actually find something. If someone Googles your company, they can actually see really good reviews. If they can see that you are an expert, you have, you know, blogs out there, they can read about your company, they can read about your employees, they can read about any charities or any events that you've had. Like, people want to trust that they're making the right decision. They don't want to feel like they just made a deal with a stranger because you asked for the business. I hope that makes sense. So when you're doing the digital marketing, you're also generating leads. You have them to give you their email addresses. You have them fill out referrals. Like if you go to ericacrossley.com, I have a tab where people can submit referrals, and it works. I'll just have a whole entire referral sitting there waiting for me in the inbox because the family has given me all the information because they want my help. So the same thing for you guys. And so we can help you automate your business. The tedious tasks such as, you know, scheduling tours and sending out reminders for those tours, we can have AI do that. That's not something that you need to do. So if you send out a newsletter, that we have AI do as well, and it comes back that people want to come in for a tour, a lunch tour on Friday. Let's say you're doing tours on Friday only, where people can come in, taste the food, meet the staff. They can just book in Calendly, and we can have that sync with your Gmail and your, you know, all these other things, and it'll send the reminder text messages and all these things. We can help you to create marketing that does not look like any other's marketing. Like, we have all seen the stock photos. Is this one? No, because I put me. Stock photos of seniors taking care of models taking care of seniors and all those other things. But if that doesn't reflect the population that you actually take care of, let's say in one of those wards, right? We should have marketing that gives us a better chance at relaying with our potential customer. So we can help you create that. We also use AI for that as well. So guys, I hope that you have enjoyed this. I have another seminar coming up on it's just straight marketing on how to fill your beds. If you're interested in that, let me know. If you're interested in business automation, increasing your marketing efforts, getting referrals and more leads infused into your business, I'm here to help you. I also want to encourage you to let you know that starting your home is definitely a plus. There is a senior housing crisis. You are helping to solve a problem, and you are greatly appreciated. If you feel stuck in your journey as far as finding the right home or getting referrals, reach out to Care Home Toolkit. We're on Facebook. I also have a referrals group on Facebook full of personal care homeowners that are established already. Reach out to me